What's up, Baracus? What's going on, buddy? Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. What's up, brother? What's going on, some guy? It's going. It's going. Trying to get settled in again. My screen looks. Does that look? Snipes. Eric, what's up, guys? Yeah, Devani, probably. We're gonna watch this fireside chat thing, but I have a feeling it's gonna be more. We're gonna try and fix some stuff. We're already what? Over a week into the damn season. I don't know when they're actually doing this 1.11 launch. So, I don't know, man. It's me. What's up, brother? Yeah, some kind. Actually, it is. uh, Eric, dude. Oh my God, dude. I don't even know. I have volume turned off right now till they come up. Supposedly, they're going to talk about the new patch that's going to be coming out. They haven't actually said. I know, Snipes. It was one of them things. So I was going to stream last Friday, right? And we had a bit of a medical, nothing bad, but something that made it not optimal to be streaming, put it that way. We had some intestinal stuff going on that would not have made for a comfortable stream. No, it wasn't a toe injury. It was just something I would have not been comfortable. It would not have been a good time sitting here playing a game, put it that way. So we just, and then I went out of town Sunday, and just dealing with some stuff for my mother. It just turned into a long drawn out week. Kind of. It wasn't a good situation. Cause I had actually, last Friday was the fireside thing, and I watched parts of it. And I had to go back and watch it because I missed most of it. But it was not a good time. All right, we're gonna, once this cutscene goes away, we're gonna see. Nah, Spartan. I hadn't been on the game. Yeah, Eric, it wasn't. It was just yeah, nah. It was just a time, man. So, how quick do you think they apologize? How fast till we get an apology? I'm gonna say first 2 minutes. After the cutscene. Yeah, right. Eating something. All right, here we go. I gotta be honest with you guys. This season is boring the ever living hell out of me, though. All right, here we go.
Welcome to another Diablo 4 Campfire Chat. My name is Adam Fletcher. I am the Associate Director of Community here on Diablo. Joined here by Joe Shelley, Game Director for Diablo 4. Mr. Joe Balfour, which you guys know of, and Joe as well, I guess.
Seems a little
familiar faces. Associate Director for Diablo 4, and of course,
this says lead class Jackson, designer, so he's going to talk about the barb and the sword
for Diablo 4. We have a lot to talk about today.
This guy here is not comfortable in front of a camera.
Adams, two Joes, so this is going to get really confusing here. And we were thinking about maybe we do like a battle royale or something like that to determine who talks next or whatever. But I will say we actually do have a lot to talk about. In fact, I would almost say this is like dev update stream worthy, as opposed to Campfire Plus. Yeah.
Here's the part.
Plus. It's like
Nerd
the game
fun.
Plus or whatever.
Stuff was too
But
fun. We
do have a
can't
lot
be
to
having
talk
that.
about, specifically around patch 1.1.1.
When's it releasing? No, it's 1.11.
1.11. Patch 1.11.
We did.
We are going to talk about some balance changes.
Yeah,
that are
Pettigo,
coming,
100%, dude.
to
That Joe
patch.
Shelley, he
Of
does
course,
not
we're
like
also gonna
these
be talking
things.
about the dates of when that patch is actually going to be hitting, along with when players will be seeing the patch notes, which will be well before the actual patch does actually hit. But we'll talk about that here in a second.
So this is the
I
fix,
know,
the barb
we
and the
do wanna
sword.
jump
It's the
right
main
into it 'cause
piece
we
of
do
this
have a
1.11.
ton to talk about.
How far into the
so,
season are we
I will
going
actually
here?
throw it over here to Adam Jackson because I know he wants to talk a
Greg,
little bit
what's up,
about,
buddy?
kind of like the class balance and what we're thinking about for 1.11.
Yeah, Eric, he did,
Yeah,
man.
totally.
They totally
Glad to
bought
be
that.
here. We have a lot to talk about. So, first, I want to kind of frame this in our goals and what we're going to be doing in this patch in the immediate future, and then talking a little bit about kind of how the class team feels about classes and kind of what we're thinking in a more mid to long term space. So, for this patch, we've got a lot going on. One of our
Barb.
goals is kind of, I think, obvious to the community. We want to kind of improve the effectiveness and the fun of the Sorcerer and the Barbarian. So we've got a lot of changes coming in there, and I think I want to frame this in two ways of kind of what we're thinking about the Sorcerer and then what we're thinking about with the Barbarian. Because they both have, kind of different things going on. For the Sorcerer in this patch, we're focusing on reducing something that we call Kiss Curse mechanics, which is kind of, I know, a very designery term. But it's this idea that we give you a really cool power effect, and then we kind of take something away or make it nerfed or nerf some other part of you in some way.
That's
usually
every part
for
of the
balance
game.
reasons, to make sure that it's not just out of control and power.
Yeah, usually the idea there is like, to your point, it's like, so we can,
What's up,
when we
Jerry?
have like 20% we can afford to give you, but if we take 10% of something else away, we can give you 30% or
Yeah.
45% and feel a little bit better about that.
Exactly. Usually it's to sell a fantasy in a really strong way, but we can't
Ice, what's up, brother?
do that justifiably without just breaking the mechanic. But we found out in a lot of ways we've been a little too harsh with that, and so we're going to try and reduce or remove that in some cases. And then the other one is late game survivability. We know that the sorcerers typically have a tough time, when they start pushing those later Nightmare Dungeon tiers, and so we're going to be looking at ways to increase that specifically. And an example of that Kiss Curse mechanic is the Serpentine aspect. If you know that one, it's the one where you can spawn an additional Hydra, but it reduces
I don't know
the
yet,
duration
Jerry.
of your
We're about to-
Hydras. That's just no longer going to reduce the duration. It's actually going to increase it. So that's an example of something. We'll go into more detail later.
Yeah, right.
For the Barbarian,
Resistances. Come on.
we're focusing on improving the early game and making it feel better and just more fluid. We're going to be improving the Fury generation that you get from your basic skills. And then we're also looking at the late game for the Barbarian by making a lot of their uniques more attractive and effective. So you're going to see later when we go through the notes that we're going to be changing around usually about one affix per unique, from something that really isn't that attractive for players to something that they really
Literally
want.
every
They will help
Barbarian
make those
unique
items really exciting.
sucks. Every
Now,
single one.
When we make
There's not a
changes
good
to
one.
items, specifically items like uniques, many of these changes only take effect on new items, right? Like I think we have an example. Of the
No,
Hell-
no,
of the
no, no,
Hellhammer
no.
Yeah, kind of. It's a little bit more complex than that. So we're going to delve into one of our examples of what we're updating here. But when we update a unique item, we actually update Hellhammer in two different ways. So we're increasing the duration that the ground is going to be ignited and burning, and then we're also increasing the damage. And that's the actual unique effect power, the exciting
This
thing
better
that
go
damage is.
backwards. They
So
did
you
that
can
to
see
the
here on
other
Hellhammer,
items.
we're also doing another change where we're actually granting you a bonus critical strike damage and removing the bonus damage to crowd control enemies, right? So on the left, what you
That
see
one,
here,
it
when
does.
you log into the game, after this patch, the left version is what you're going to get. So you're not going to get the critical strike damage change where the actual item affix there, the rule changed, but you are going to get the updates to the upheaval, lasting longer and doing more damage. On the right, when you find your new items after the patch, you're going to get the new affixes, the new rules and things on the item.
Hold
So
up.
new versions of these items will have all of the buffs.
So they could roll back the items we had before when they made the changes, but they're not going to roll back these items that are already found. Because.
So going back to kind of other things that we're looking at. So that's the Sorcerer and the Barbarian what we're focusing on. Then generally across all classes, we're doing a few other things as well. We're looking at builds that aren't really hitting a high enough power level, and we're going to be just buffing them and increasing the power of them so they should feel better and be more competitive. We're also going to be looking at increasing the attractiveness of kind of uniques across the board. We're
I didn't
focusing
either
on
for some
Sorcerer and
guy.
Barbarian for this patch. But we actually believe that we can do this kind of thing across the board. There's a lot of uniques that we think aren't really hitting the mark. It's something that's kind of a tough
The
thing that we
crappier
talk
ones,
about
yeah,
on the
Eric.
team. Because, you know, the roles and the things that the uniques have as far as their item power are all fixed, right? They can't re-roll different stats all over the place. So we could very easily just make, you know, all uniques really good by putting all the best stats on the items, right? That's an easy thing to do for us. But we kind of have a push and pull there where we don't want to just make all of them clearly the best items in the game because they have all the best stats and they have really good powers. We want there to be something that's really unique and attractive about them, and you have to kind of think of how you're going to fit these into your character's build. But we think that we are just not hitting the mark on a lot of them, so we're boosting
Bob,
them a
what's
little
going
bit
on?
and then just kind of seeing how that goes. Next, we're going to be looking at opening up build-specific designs to be more widely useful. So there's a lot of effects on legendary powers and in other places where, you know, this effect only works in a very narrow use case, like only on a single skill or a single group of skills, or
Yeah, right.
we use a certain
I was
slot
thinking
to
that,
get it.
Spartan.
And in many cases, we're just going to open that up to be more widely usable, so that players can actually, you know, use them in more different builds or different ways. One example of this that we'll go over later is Chain Lightning's upgrade, Greater Chain Lightning. Currently, it gives you the bounces of Chain Lightning do bonus damage when it bounces off of you. And we're going to change that so that it just does bonus damage when it bounces off of anything. So instead of being kind of a narrow use case where you're only using it like on a boss.
All right, I got to say this, and I don't know if this is a bad take or not. I don't think it is. Is there a problem with actually making a unique, actually, not even like overpowered, but way better? Is that for some reason a bad thing now? I don't understand why they're hesitant to make items like really, really good. They feel like there's always has to be a trade-off to where if they give you some really good stuff on a unique, we got to give you some bad stuff to offset it. I mean, is that necessarily a bad thing to just have a really good item with all good stuff on it? I don't know. I don't understand that mindset.
As I'm sure many of you in the community know, vulnerable and crit are really, really strong right now. Kind of a lot of the meta is about, you know, you make an enemy vulnerable and then you do bonus damage to them and then you stack as much crit strike chance and crit damage as you can and then you blow them up, right? Our game actually was foundationally made with other types of builds that aren't only those in mind, right? We have like damage over time or dot damage, things like Firewall or Shadow Necro does a lot of this. We also have Overpower as a mechanic in our game, and these other different ways to build your character, we want them to have parity with, you know, vulnerable and crit damage. So we're going to be trying to find, our goal is to find a way, and we're working on it right now, that all those different ways of dealing damage have a lot of
that's what I'm
parity.
saying.
So no matter if
Some
you're
guy,
an
I mean, it's
Overpower
just,
build or
I don't
crit
know. I don't
build
understand
or,
why they're
you know,
afraid
damage
of
over
that.
time build, you will be relatively equal in power to all of the other different types of ways to play. So another one that we're looking at is adding scaling to builds and effects that don't really scale very well in the game. This is something that I think is a big opportunity for us to open up just excitement in different builds in the game. And what I mean by this is we have a lot of legendary powers and effects that like spawn a new thing. An example of this is like on the Barbarian, there's some legendary powers that spawn earthquakes or dust devils.
Yeah, they suck.
Another one is the Necromancer has like things that leave shadow trails on the ground that deal damage. And these things, they deal what we call flat damage, which is like we give it a damage number, and then that's how much it does, and then that damage number kind of scales with player level. But what we find is that
It
a lot of these
sucks.
things are really good in the early and mid game when they drop, but then when you get to the really late game, they kind of fall off really hard. And what we want to do is find ways to add scaling so that the player can opt into like making a build out of these things. So if I want to be an Earthquake Barbarian or a Dust Devil Barbarian, I can actually do that, and it's supported by the game. So that's something that we're really excited about because we think that'll open up a lot more build possibilities. Ultimates are kind of in this range as well. That's a more long-term goal. But similarly, you know, a lot of ultimates are really strong in the early and mid game. You take it, it blows up the screen, feels great. And then in the late game, a lot of ultimates that we see that are used are just used because they buff the player in some way.
Yeah, they don't blow up the screen the same way anymore.
Yeah, right. I want you to be excited to use Bone Storm because Bone Storm is awesome, not
Yeah.
because it gives you a buff, right? Or
Yeah.
you know, Grizzly Rage or other ones, right? So that's kind of something that we're thinking about in the mid to long term to make the game kind of open up and have more builds available.
So we've been talking here a little bit about sort of our philosophy.
Yeah,
here.
Eric, it
We're about
is.
to get
Flat-
into
that
patch
flat
notes.
damage
We're about to talk about
setups
Sorcerer.
are it's just bad.
But we thought that it was important to talk a little bit about this philosophy, both because we want to be very transparent in terms of like how we're thinking about the game and what kinds of like why we're making changes.
I want a time frame.
both so that when you
We're gonna
see
be halfway
changes,
through
you
the
can
season
understand
before we get a barb
what
update?
we're thinking, like what
Is
we're
that,
going
is that
for.
what we're talking?
And also so that we can incorporate feedback from the community, feedback from you into these kinds of changes.
Yeah, and that goes down even to the format for this particular live stream, right?
Yeah.
So like we're gonna go through a lot of details really, really soon, which I think people are really excited about. I hope people are really excited about because we're gonna have a lot of those. And then afterwards, we want to hear back from the community about like how how this worked. Like, was this the best way to get this information? Did you get a lot of good data from us, and do you understand why we're doing making the changes that we are? Right, and to Joe's point, again, it is really useful for you to understand these things. It's going to help with the feedback that you give us back. We know whether we're hitting it or not.
Yeah, and this is like a multi-stage type of thing. So we're actually gonna. You guys are about to see a ton of slides here in a second, going through pretty much all the different detailed balance changes that are coming across the classes. But then, like we said, like we do plan on releasing patch notes so that you guys can actually read them in more detail. And in those patch notes will be additional information such as like all the bug fixes and so forth that will be coming in with the game itself with 1.1.1. So.
Do we know when we're getting we plan on releasing those?
So we are. Look at this. We had
I'm just
planned
asking-
this to
I'm
talk
asking the
about it
question,
later,
so, I
and
mean-
now like.
Yeah,
sorry.
Bob, but I mean,
and
it's
now-
just because they
now-
were
now
so
you're just
bad
gonna
to
spoil it.
begin
We're
with.
actually going to release patch notes, full patch notes. You guys will
I don't
see
know, man.
these patch notes first here on the
I
stream.
feel like
but
it's maybe a half
We
step.
will release patch notes next Wednesday on August 2nd, so that everyone will end up seeing it. We'll talk about the patch date here at the end of the stream. We're closer to the end of the stream.
Yeah, so just wait for the end of the stream. We'll talk about when that's going to go out.
But what we do want to do is we do want to jump straight into the balance changes and so forth.
Yeah.
And we do want to start off with the sorcerers. So we have a lot of different slides and changes here that we do want to detail. So Adam, I know, wants to go through them all.
Yeah, totally. So I think what I'll do is just give you a few moments to look at the screen and kind of see what we're doing, and then talk high level about some of the bigger changes here. So flickering firebolt is one we're changing firebolt to basically just generate mana when you hit an enemy before.
Is the issue with Sork actually the damage though, or is it just the survivability? Is there damage garbage too? Because so far these are like, I mean, I feel like the defensive setups for the Sork is where they're bad, isn't it? I think their damage is actually pretty decent. Granted, I mean, they're giving them some more bumps here, which I guess is fine. I don't know. But I don't think the damage was ever the issue. I thought that they were just so super squishy. Oh, you think it is? The Sork is still needing some more damage, which is fine. I know the squishiness of the Sork. My Barbarian is like super squishy right now. Yeah, that's kind of true. Like with everything. Well, I can't say everything. I know with the Barb, I quit playing. I did. Like I think last Friday was the last time I played, because my Barbarian is so squishy. I mean, I had to respec already, and I'm like 40-ish. And I had to like set a bunch of defensive skills just to try and stay alive. So basically my damage is hammer, and everything else is defensive. I got bored. I couldn't get myself to play anymore. I haven't played since the weekend. I just haven't felt the urge to play. Maybe I need to mix up a class. I don't know. So it's one of them things like I don't know. I guess there was times with D2 that maybe I got bored, but not really. Like the end game running to me was always kind of fun. No matter what I was doing, I just switched to a different area if I was getting bored with one area. I don't get that with this game. I just I don't know, guys. I'm waiting for the barb stuff. I mean, y'all can go back and watch it. I'm curious to see what the Sork is gonna feel like, or the barb is gonna feel like, because my damage is kind of meh. The malignant hearts are kind of meh. I've seen builds for like Necros have a couple of good malignant hearts. There's not a good one for the barbarian. I think the rogue has a really good one. But like everything with regards to the barbarian is bad with this season. Got nerfed damage wise, got nerfed defensive wise, and didn't get a good offset with the malignants from the season. And the unique suck. The Azurath just sucks. I'm just saying it went from one of the better classes to the worst class. Yeah, no funny. It's exactly that, dude. Mm. I don't like those damage to stun, damage to slow, damage to. I feel like they spread that out too much, so there's a bunch of ridiculous affixes. Yeah, exactly, Eric. That's what I was just. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm meaning. It's just like those. Okay, here we go. Hold on.
Again, so like I said before, we're increasing the Fury generation of all of those basic skills. So you're just going to get more Fury in the early game so that you can do that basic core skill loop a little more often, so it should be more fun. Double swings gain a damage buff, ruptures gain a damage buff, charges gain a damage buff, and one of the enhancements is increasing that vulnerable duration, so it should hopefully be more attractive.
That's a big jump on rupture.
One thing I do want to note is like even on if we go back to the other slide, like
sure.
A lot of people are going like Fury gain 11 to 13 and like 10 to 13, and they're always like noting like, well, that doesn't feel like a big number and so forth.
It's not.
By percentage, it's really big.
Yeah, by percentage.
No, it's not.
A whole lot of other stuff. It gets spooky when we do too much in a percent wise.
Exactly. So I think
because of how everything works in our game.
I think people are seeing some of the smaller numbers, but not realizing that other things obviously it scales with other things and other and it mixes in with whether you other gear that you have and so forth. So this is just the baseline number. And you have to remember that obviously when that number gets tweaked, everything else gets tweaked. That gets.
I want to point that out too when we do like damage increases where it might seem small because it's increasing the base that everything else multiplies and scales on. It can be a bit. I mean, sometimes it's not as much. We can go and do it again, right? But it's scary and risky. So we have to think about that because it's very easy to be like, oh, just make it 20. And now, late game, you're just like bashing once and then getting all your Fury back or something, right?
Right.
So,
I tried charge because of the changes to charge,
so
and the damage
this
was really
this one
bad.
gives you berserking, and it used to be that you had to damage 2 or more enemies or 3 or more enemies to get a better buff, and now we're adding bosses to that. So when you're in a boss fight, you're just going to be able to get and chain that berserking again, making it usable in a part of the game where it didn't used to be. We've also got Gushing Wounds is one I think worth calling out. This is the key passive. We're increasing the scaling of your bleed to crit damage, and then also your bleed damage when you overpower an enemy is going up significantly.
Yeah,
11 to
so now when you overpower
70%.
that AoE blood burst,
That's how bad it was.
Chunky damage, we're hoping. Walking Arsenal is another one worth calling out here. We heard some feedback that it's really hard to keep up all 3 of your weapon types when you're doing Walking Arsenal. Usually 2 is fairly easy. You can have a basic and a core that are different weapons, but getting that third one to consistently happen, especially if you're using a cooldown skill like charge or leap or something like that, it can be hard to maintain that. So
No,
we're
it's
just increasing it to make
impossible
it more forgiving.
to
We should
maintain
also
that.
increase all of those legendaries and other powers,
Yeah.
uniques and stuff.
That was possible for me when I had Deathblow charges, but whenever I was only running like one Deathblow charge at a time, like that build just didn't
Yeah,
really come
Deathblow's
online.
probably one of the more one of the easier ones to get, and even then it can be a little hard, right?
Yeah, for sure. This is great. It opens up a lot.
Yeah. So next, let's talk legendaries. Let me see. One of them, the aspect of Unrelenting Fury here, is one worth calling out, where again you're going to get a benefit when hitting bosses. So now it's useful in a part of the game that it
Cost
wasn't
free
used in
fun
at
also
all.
granted when hitting the boss.
Another one is the aspect of, or two earthquake aspects there at the bottom, Bukathos and Earthquake. We're increasing the amount of damage reduction and damage bonus. So if you want to do that earthquake build, you know, like I said before, we want those earthquakes to do damage and be meaningful. But in the
I tried to
meantime,
do this
while you're standing
earthquake
in them, those
build
buffs on you,
preseason.
are going to be a little bit more powerful. So hopefully
It was
we can
fun, but
incentivize
yeah,
people
it
to go
just
through that
overall
fantasy.
it sucked.
All right, next, so uniques. We've got a lot of stuff here with barbarian uniques. Again, the kind of the high-level goal here is we're generally improving just the base thing the unique does, and then also trying to replace an item stat that wasn't very attractive or not as attractive with one that we know players really, really like to make these meaningful for them. So Fields of Crimson, this is the one where you do blood pools when you rupture enemies. We're increasing the damage. We're increasing the damage that enemies take standing in pools, which is a pretty big buff. And then we're also changing the rupture cooldown reduction with bonus crit strike damage. And again, combine that with the bonus in the key passive where the
From
bleed
11 to
damage,
70, right?
yep, where that scales better. That'll just be quite a bit more damage across
That's awesome.
the board. Hellhammer we talked
I
about.
don't think so.
Ramalandi's Magnum Opus, we're replacing the physical damage affix with vulnerable damage. 100,000 steps, the base affix of the boots, we're replacing the evade cooldown affix with just more evade charges.
Yeah,
And then we're also
those boots are
replacing the damage
horrible.
against stun enemies with bonus.
That's
movement
still not
speed,
gonna make
which
them
you'll
very
see a couple
good.
times in boots that we're doing because we know how attractive that stat is.
Let's talk about.
sorry.
So, I was just going to say we said that we were going to buff sorceress and barbarian. We're going to make some changes in 111. But Adam, you've been
Incoming
working
rogue
on-
nerfs.
we don't want to leave the other three classes out, right?
Yeah, totally.
Most of these changes are on that you've seen are for Sork and Barb,
Mm-hmm.
but I think we had some time to make some changes to the other classes
We
too.
totally did, so we can go on here. One thing I do want to call out, though, the focus of the patch is the Sorcerer and the Barbarian, so you're going to see a lot more for them, but we wanted to give the other classes something exciting as well. Rogues are actually, I think, eating pretty well right now, so they're pretty good, but we still found some things of underused things to buff.
Yeah, right.
Probably
Eric.
one of the more big ones here is
No,
Forceful Arrow.
they're terrified of
changing
making
the
a nerf
functionality here
on
so that every
anything.
time
There's
you
no way
cast
they make a
third
nerf.
cast of the arrow just
No
bonuses
way.
all enemies, which is a pretty big just generic bonus. We got some feedback
They'd
on
be
Rain of
terrified to
Arrows
do a
that
nerf.
it's kind of weird that the second wave was the one that knocked all the enemies down, because a lot of times, you know, you cast a skill and the combat is in a certain state where the enemies are where you want to hit them and probably where you want to CC them, because you usually want to group stuff up to CC them. But because it happens on the second wave, you know, the first wave comes, does a little damage to everything,
They all move.
and then they all move, and then everything falls apart, right? So this just makes it more
Eric,
reliable.
I was literally about to say I didn't think there was an
Sets
issue with
itself up.
poison
It sets
damage.
itself up. Yeah, exactly.
They actually the poison
Here, let me look
that
if
poison
there's
trap
anything
gets
that
used in
noteworthy.
a
There's some
lot
buffs
of
to Things
builds.
that are underused.
I'm kind of surprised they even touched that. I didn't think it was in a bad spot.
Menace, no longer requires hits to be from close enemies. So again, we're just making things more generically usable.
Yeah, I'm surprised they buffed that.
And then for uniques, kind of similar to Barbarian, we found some room here to make a couple stats replaced with things that we know are really, really attractive. So in Wind Force, we replaced the all stats affix with bonus vulnerable damage. And then the Word of Hakan, we replace ultimate damage with cooldown reduction. So
Yeah,
Druid,
maybe,
kind of similar
Jeff.
to what I said about the Barbarian, about that early game kind of feeling a little bit slow. We're also improving all of the spirit generation of the Druid's basic skills. So across the board, you're just going to
Here's the thing: they're waiting to say when they're going to go with the patch live.
Passive damage.
It's
going
gonna
to
be like season 2.
So your wolves are going to feel better. Both passive and active damage is going up. The upgrades for the wolves are all going to be a little bit more powerful. And then same thing for ravens, their passive damage is going up. And then brutal ravens, this is the one that gives you another little, a couple more little ravens to go peck your enemies to death. They're also going to peck a little bit harder, so a little bit more fantasy fulfilling there, I think. And then we're also looking at rabies. We know that poison druid, like just if I want to do pure poison druid, is a little bit behind, so we're really targeting rabies as a pretty meaty upgrade there in its damage. This will also, by the way, improve the legendary. I think it's legendary where your wolves can cast rabies. That's also going to be improved.
You
by
think they're
this.
all playing
So just that
Necro?
whole archetype
Necro
will
does There's a
And then
lot of
for
people playing Necro for
legendaries
sure.
and the class mechanic, we're just buffing some things that are a little bit underutilized, so they'll just be stronger. And then
Here we go.
Necromancer, so here we've got quite a few things going on. Bone Spirit, this is the enhanced Bone Spirit, which is where when you crit enemies with the Bone Spirit, you get cooldown reduction. We're increasing that from 6 to 7 seconds. So it should
People
be a
use
little,
Bone
a little
Spirit?
more friendly to players in this.
I've never
stage of
seen
the
a
game.
build
The Wither
around Bone
Legendary
Spirit.
upgrade here, this is the one where your shadow dot damage is going up. And we added a new way to scale that damage in the Legendary space. We got feedback that this really just wasn't scaling enough to be meaningful, even when you invested a lot into willpower. So now you're just going to get a lot more bang for your buck. You're going to do, the requirement is less, so you're going to get more procs of the increase to your damage and chance to proc that damage. And then also just your bonus damage straight up is going to be better. So the shadow builds should be a lot better. Empowering Reaper, we got some feedback that totally makes sense to me now, and a year ago me should have thought of this. But the way that this used to work was Sever would spawn a pool of blight under enemies, and the chance was based on you critting them. So the idea was you would create a crit build, and then you turn your crit into these pools of damage, right? That sounds kind of cool. But it turns out, crit doesn't work with dots at all. So that pool doesn't get scaled with the way that you make the pool. So it just doesn't work design-wise. I take the blame for that. But now we're changing it so you just have to damage enemies
I
to
have
spawn
no
those pools
clue,
of blight.
dude.
So now this can actually
There's a
be
good
more
chance
friendly-
most of Season
more
2 is
friendly to
already
dot builds.
sketched out
And then
probably most of the
Aspect
way done.
Exposed Flesh, this
They're
one
probably
used to
working on
have the
3
same
right
effect,
now.
but only when hitting vulnerable enemies with bone skills. So now you can just get we have a new resource mechanic for all the Necromancer specs that aren't bone. And then here, let me see, probably one of the big ones to call out, even though it's just a number buff, is Aspect of Torment. That Essence Regeneration was just woefully undertuned, so we increased it pretty significantly.
Yeah, that's
Hulking
what I was
aspects,
just
this
saying.
one,
I think
I'm hoping
Season 2 is probably already just about done.
Looking at it now,
I think
was a
they're at
little
least
weird.
that
It
far
doesn't actually
ahead.
give you resource, it's just cooldown reduction on the Golem skill. So we're going to move that to a utilities. Now you can put this like on your boots and other places that you didn't have to, and it doesn't have to take that prime ring slot to use this legendary. And then we're also updating the effect a little bit to be stronger. And then for uniques, kind of similar to what I said before, the Greaves of the Empty Tomb, we're changing the bonus intelligence affix to be replaced with bonus move speed, which I know is particularly attractive for Necromancer players.
Oh wait,
Yeah,
something about
mobility
movement.
for
There you go.
Oh yeah, well, Necromancers they make more mobility a little bit. I heard
Usually
from some
the
people.
slower individuals in the group. So
Yeah, helping them out a little bit. Here, this is a monster change, but it impacts minions really, so Necromancer and Druid. But these attacks now from the Balrog and some elite affixes are going to be dealing reduced damage to Necromancer minions and Druid companions, so your pets will just die less often to these things.
Jim. Yeah, armor
And then now we got
worse.
some of our generic updates. We only have a couple of them. The first one is to a Malignant Heart. This is the Caged Heart of Spellbreaking. And this one used to say that when you took elemental damage, you gained damage resistance to that element, right? It was thematic to reducing only that element. But we found that was really, really narrow. Again, trying to open things up so it's not so narrowly useful that you're not going to ever take it. So now it's just going to give you just generic
What
damage
good would the
reduction.
damage resist do? They don't
And
work.
then our last one here for item updates is Temerity. So we got a lot of feedback on this one. It's funny because when we launched the game, we thought that this item was crazy and going to be really, really good.
No, it's
But
garbage.
then we realized due to the stats on it that it just wasn't hitting the attractiveness that we wanted. So even though this terrifies me, we're going to bump it up and see how it goes. But we're going to replace the all stats affix with bonus max life. The barrier is now also going to be scaling with your maximum life. And it'll probably be working with other barrier legendaries where you need a barrier to do certain procs and things. This will now proc with that as well. So we think this is going to be a pretty big buff to this item, and hopefully we'll see it in your max life and increasive healing builds.
Yeah, so we have a ton of updates coming to the classes.
Yeah, a lot of
that
stuff.
we literally
Lot of
just went
stuff.
through. It's almost like an encyclopedia of stuff that, especially on the barb and sorcerer classes. But I will say that it's nice that we got some stuff in for the rogue, necromancer, and druid players as well. Making sure that we kind of buffed up some of the more undertuned stuff that we had seen.
Actually, one more caveat to all of that. I should have said this at the beginning. It's not final yet.
Not final
This
yet.
is
That's why
planned.
you probably saw the little
The
watermark
odds are
on it.
very high. We do 90% of it or most
Nothing
of it.
yet,
even
Chris.
all, but
We're waiting for the
as
date
we
at
get
this
into the
point.
weeds of things and we're updating things, some things may change. So this is our plan. It's very likely it'll be at least most of it, if not all of it. But
At
not
least 2
completely
weeks
in the
out.
game
It's got to
yet,
be,
so-
right?
There might be
we-
some number tweaks, basically.
Yeah, we always add a small caveat just because things are still going through testing right now.
At
on
least
our
2
side.
weeks
Correct.
before they
So
drop
making
the
sure
patch
testing and all that
notes.
stuff.
Yeah,
so.
we're make sure we're not completely.
I'm very careful. I always caveat, not final until you see it in the game.
Adam's
but-
being very cautious about
Yes.
it.
I am very
It's
cautious
not
of
going
it.
to be. You're not going to experience something that's totally different from what you just
That's
saw.
right. That's
No.
why. That's also
It'll
why we're
be
not
posted.
releasing patch notes today, and we're going to actually discuss when patch notes will be released
We will.
later on
Yeah.
the stream. So
Yes.
we'll reveal that.
And one thing I do want to note is like
They're holding that
because
out.
I'm seeing this like a little bit in chat, and people are
Yeah.
going like, "Hey, you guys are adjusting some tweaks with like, for instance, like druid summons and their minions. Same thing with like there's a lot of questions about like, hey, what's the overall plan on like minion builds and so forth in the future? Is that something you guys are still going to want to work on, look at in the future?
I could talk about this for a very long time. Yes, Druid and Necromancer are a little bit different, so I guess I'll talk Necromancer first. So Necromancer minions is absolutely a core fantasy of Necromancer players.
No,
that
Joe,
minions
no
are
way.
cool and awesome, and that you
Patch
can raise the dead
notes.
and have the dead fight for you. That is.
I'm going
that
to
is
say
cool.
at least 2 weeks.
Minions, it turns out, in all games, not just ours, or summons or all that, are very complicated and hard to make work. They have a lot of moving parts that are different than every other class and build archetype in
Joe
many
Matt,
games.
what's up,
They
brother?
have AI. They have a passive and active component to them typically. There's a
Yeah,
lot going
nobody.
on. So
Blizzard
in this
soon.
patch, we're not touching the Necromancer stuff a lot. It is on the team's radar of looking at the ways that they scale, looking at the ways that things proc with them, looking at just the combination of passive versus active activity that we want the player to do there. So there's definitely a lot going on there. We are thinking about it. There will be stuff coming, but no promises on when, but we are actively talking about it. Druid is a little bit different because from the ground up, the class fantasy is not only minions, right? It's like a specific build and way to play. One of the things that we were concerned about when launching the game is we didn't want the Druid to like have just as many or more companions than the Necromancer, and they're stronger. It's like, well, where's the fantasy of the Necromancer if the Druid does it better, right? So that was something that we contended with a lot. I'm sure that we're going to flex on that over time. We did add support. We still love companions on Druid, and we will absolutely be making it more of a thing, hence why we're buffing them a lot in this patch. But we are careful about the design space and the fantasy of the different classes, right? We don't want all the
Druid
classes
Summoner
to be
will
exactly
always
the same
be
because they
bad.
don't
That's the
feel different when you're
translation.
playing. You don't have new interesting mechanics that are between them. We talk about that a lot on the team. It's very
Eric.
easy to be like, hey, just this class doesn't have this and it's fun, give it to all the others, right? I think Necromancer and move speed is part of that, where we overcorrected a little bit, where like we didn't want them to have a teleport or dash, right, like a rogue. If Necromancers are dashing around everywhere, that's a weird fantasy, right? But not giving them enough movement speed options at all, I think, is something that we're coming back on.
Yeah.
So, but it's a push and pull, right? It's on a spectrum of how far do we go into another class's fantasy or an archetype that doesn't make sense fantasy-wise versus keeping true to the core and finding clever ways to fix it, or we can't fix it and we do need to bend a little bit. And
Yeah,
it's always a conversation.
It's also interesting to see that the feedback, particularly on Druid companions, like we knew that they were really
Yeah, the thing with this is they gave the Necromancer the option to sacrifice. So you get a big power bonus from not using your summons. The Druid just has bad summons with no offset.
fantasy of like I am the master of the animal kingdom, and I'm going to have all these
Hey,
and
what's up,
nature,
Shiz?
right? I'm going to have all these buddies with me. I think it's kind of like moving our hand a little bit. It's like, oh yeah, actually there is something really cool here. There is fantasy here for us to really latch onto and more that we can do. But to Adam's
Absolutely.
point, it's still very important we make sure that the Necromancer feels distinct and the Druid feels distinct after these changes go in.
Correct. It's the eternal struggle for us on class design.
Sure.
Yeah. We also have a lot of like quality of life items that we wanted to talk about that we actually kind of hit on last week
Oh, sure.
when we were talking on the
Yeah,
campfire
Jim.
chat
I mean,
that
they're just
would
the
be coming
Druid
in
Summoner is
111.
always going to be
and,
bad.
I know we wanted to talk a little bit more about those
I tried
here.
to work
I
with
know
it
we have some
in
changes coming
D2
for,
after those
like
changes, but
monster density.
Yeah.
For
I mean, it
instance.
was
we'll talk about
okay.
monster
It's
density.
stronger than this.
So we've said a few times now that we're going to increase monster density in Nightmare Dungeons and Helltides. These changes are in 1.1.1, like we said last week.
Yeah,
And I
smart.
think
Not
we
exactly,
have
dude.
An
It's-
image of an example.
You're
of a
better off
Nightmare
taking
Dungeon
sacrifices.
That
yes,
so
the
this
current-
is how it is today.
Yeah.
If you go into Nostravus Deepwood, of course, monsters are going to not be exactly like this, but this is an example of it. And then in 1.1.1, it's going to change, so you can see a lot more monsters here.
There it is.
And this is really going back to, we talked about our mission statement for the live game of after you've achieved your build, being able to go in and mow down large numbers of enemies, deal with large numbers of enemies. That's sort of a core part of an ARPG that we want to make sure that we're delivering, especially in the end game content. So that's how to look for Nightmare Dungeons.
Right, Jib?
On Helltide, we've been doing the same thing, increasing density. As I said last week, there are some areas of Helltide that are highly dense, and we want to make sure that all of our players across all of the different platforms that we support can enjoy this increased density. So it's not just the people with the absolute top-end equipment. So we've also been making sure that as we bump up these densities, that that we're doing it in a way that performance stays.
How's your machine
stays
change
so
the
you can
density?
actually, like if we bump up density and then the game turns into a slideshow, we didn't actually make the game more fun. Even though there are a lot of monsters, so it needs to stay performant at the same time. So we've been working on that at the same time so that we can really hit.
He's talking about just
hit
stuff
that,
on the screen,
target.
bogging
And
your
this is
machine
something
down.
too that when 1-1 comes 1-1.
1-1-1.
We gotta have like
Triple one.
we gotta have a different name for these patch notes. For these patches, it's fine. It's fine.
Just say
When
111,
that
Jesus
comes
Christ.
out, we're going to be looking at the density there and seeing how close it comes to this mission statement, this goal, right? And if it's not hitting this goal, then we're going to keep working toward that goal. So we really want to make sure that it's capturing that fantasy of mowing down hordes of enemies.
Yeah, it's a great goal for us to line ourselves around too, right? So once we're able to capture more data from players on live, we can see how players with different like PC specs are able to interact with some of these spaces. It's going to continue to inform us and let us do more and more double down some of these decisions as we go.
And then I know we have some changes coming in regards to bosses and so forth as well.
That's right. So we didn't talk about this last week, but we have gotten a lot of feedback before about the about players, particularly like in World Tiers 3 and 4, fighting like dungeon bosses and world bosses, and being able to go in there with their enhanced power. Now they've got like some uniques online. Their build has really come online, and they've got like a lot of like damage level targets. You know, like they're mowing through some of these bosses faster than we expect, right? So, or rather, fast enough that's not really challenging and not really engaging. So we are boosting the health of bosses in World Tiers 3 and 4. You know, at brackets as you're kind of going up the experience. But you know, in exchange for this, in exchange for making some of these pieces just a little bit harder as players are going through them, we are also going to be making a change to the rewards that you get going through these.
Yeah.
So now, like after 1.1.1 goes live, dungeon bosses starting at level 35 even. So this is before you can get into World Tiers 3, 4, and 3 and 4. And then it's the so once you've done that, or once you've killed those, you're going to have a guaranteed legendary item drop in that space. And that's going to carry up as well into World Tiers 3 and 4. When you complete a Legion event, that's going to also give you a guaranteed legendary drop starting at level 35. You know, there's a chance before 35, but it's guaranteed at level 35. You're going to have one pop in. And then another Butcher has a 100% chance to drop a legendary as well, because he's a boss, of course. And then another really big one is we got, and this is funny, I did it. Please don't follow me on Twitter unless you really want to see a lot of nerdy stuff. But I did a Twitter poll a while ago where I basically just said what do you think is the chance at which a treasure goblin will drop a legendary item? And I said it was 10%, 25%, 40%, 50% with the 4 options. The majority of players voters, I should say, right, all selected 10% was the chance.
That's what I was going to say.
Right.
Their own their feelings on it as they were kind of going through it. But the reality is at and I said level 50 Treasure Goblin as part of this. But the reality is they have a 50% chance to drop legendary items today.
Chris, not really.
And that's like going back to like level 35. They've got a very, very high chance to drop legendary items. But
So what you're saying is sometimes I kill a Treasure Goblin and it doesn't drop a legendary item.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
that's what I heard.
That's exactly right. So basically, if you flip a quarter every 25 minutes, that's basically your chance to get a legendary item when you're fighting treasure goblins in the overworld. And it's very easy to have like tails 5 times in a row, and then
That's what happens to me every time.
And as humans, we are 7 times more likely to remember a negative thing than a positive thing. So this is nothing wrong rather there's nothing wrong with the player's perception of treasure goblins not feeling rewarding. You don't see them that frequently relative to other content types, and when you don't get a legendary item from something called a treasure goblin, that can feel bad. So what we decided to do is we've gone back and said, starting right at level 15 for treasure goblins, 15, they have a guaranteed legendary item drop chance when you kill one from that point forward. So
I was
now when
about
you
to
see
say,
treasure
it
goblins
should
in
be
the map, you
100%.
start like snortling around in the corners of your screen. You know you need to go fight that thing. You need to take it out. You need to get a legendary item from it. That happens
Okay.
very, very early. So we think that's going to be
I-
like a really fun.
should have been that from the
like,
beginning.
update to kind of help get these things across. 50% isn't useful in this case. 100%, absolutely. We want you to feel like you're getting that power.
50%
No more
fun.
coin flip. No more coin flip.
Yeah, actually,
And-
probably more than 50% more fun.
I will
Say
note,
100% fun.
Joe
Yeah.
missed a wonderful opportunity to drag in Gabi, the goblin.
Oh.
The treasure
into
goblin?
the
Yeah,
frame.
some guy.
You
That
guys
would make more
should
sense,
try
I have a
right?
plush treasure
Yes,
goblin just off screen.
We have a very large plush.
Here's
There he
this
is.
giant treasure
There
goblin
he is.
that
Look-
absolutely doesn't fit on camera at
Look how
all.
happy he is.
And
that
now
he-
he's off
How
camera
do you
again.
legendary.
loot now?
Staring at Joe as he's literally talking
We
about.
have a lot of other stuff to discuss.
Staring at Joe
Very
as he's
important.
literally talking about killing him. So yeah.
They're happy to be of help.
It is a plush. It is a
Blather,
plush
give me a
creature.
date.
So, yeah,
I know, and so we talked more about, or you actually, when we were on the stream last
Yeah.
week. Sorry, bleh, about 2 weeks in a row, you guys. We talked about respecs and
Yeah.
so forth. So I know that is also coming in.
Yeah,
in 1.1.1.
we just want to confirm that the stuff we said last week, we're going to reduce respec cost by 40%. Players are going to get an extra stash tab, and Elixir stat count is going to go up to 99.
Yeah, and the stash app is just purchasable,
In Season 3.
purchasable by
That's
gold.
right. So
So
the-
Yeah.
that's just to make sure that people
That's
don't
right.
think we're just
Yeah,
selling
and,
it.
Tab 1's 100K, Tab 2's
Yeah.
200K, Tab 3's 300K, Tab 4's going to be 400K.
Yeah.
So you can buy that for your seasonal stash and for your eternal stash.
Yes, exactly. And then one other thing that we did want to talk about, because this was a question that came up
Cost
last
to
week,
reroll an
in
Aphex.
regards to like the leaving dungeon options and like teleporting out of dungeons and so forth. And I know you wanted to talk more about that here.
I don't know. I think I explained it pretty well last time.
So clear.
So clear.
There's a loop there. I don't know why anyone's confused. This is very clear. I'm just kidding. We're going to change it back to 3 seconds.
Yes.
Basically, the reason that we increased this is we have in Diablo 4 we have a mechanic where when you're casting some kind of spell or power and you get hit by some damage, you don't get interrupted immediately. You have to take about 5% of your health and damage before it gets interrupted. And this makes things like town portaling back to town, leave dungeon, etc. feel a lot better.
Saving a prisoner.
Saving a prisoner, absolutely.
Nah,
yeah.
Chris, I haven't. Wait,
So if you're taking like really incidental damage,
those the
it's
old
not going
ones?
to get interrupted.
I think I've seen them if it's what I'm
but,
thinking of.
We were worried about a case where you're in the middle of a high-intensity combat fight or in the middle of a boss fight, and we felt like it was a little bit too easy to get out of that in terms, and that's actually what it's referring to with the loop, which again, I felt like I nailed it, but I guess you know.
Why does
And
it
so,
matter?
You know, there are other ways that we could have solved that, right? We could have said like, oh, well, you get pushed back on your cast, or like, oh, well, it's only increased to 5 seconds if you're in a boss fight, or something like that. But ultimately, you know, what players really accurately pointed out is, look, this slows down the core loop of the game in a way that's not fun.
Yeah.
So we're just changing it back to 3 seconds.
Yeah, so it was at 3 seconds, went to 5 seconds, going back to 3 seconds because you
That
know,
was
obviously good
such
player
a
feedback
randomly stupid
from
change.
everyone. So
I've got
wanted
one
to-
more bonus thing to talk about too. So, so we've been getting a lot of feedback, obviously, on the end game experience, tiers 3 and 4, and you know, Nightmare Dungeons are a really big part of that. Last week we talked about how we were going to be ensuring that the Nightmare Dungeon difficulty was scaled more appropriately.
Right.
So now, like you know, the tier 70 difficulty was the old version. Rather, the old version of tier 70 is now the tier 100 after the changes that we made to more accurately reflect the balance we have in Diablo 4 versus the kind of insane overtuned stuff we had prior for the tier 70 plus content. One other thing that we obviously are thinking about, like, you know, the scaling difficulty is one part of this, you know, but we also get plenty of feedback on the on some of the Nightmare Dungeon affixes themselves. And we know that some of these are sort of ones you're going to want to basically throw in the trash right away.
Resource
you're gonna wanna salvage
burn.
these and get Citadel Dust immediately upon when
Resource
some of
burn.
these things kind of pop up. So a couple of the ones that we're actually going to be, for now, we're going to be removing a few of these as we
Resource
think about
burn.
reworking them or deciding what we want to do with them. But we're going to be taking these out in 1.1.1. They're not going to appear anymore. That is so the first is Resource Drain. It's not going to be showing up in Nightmare sigils anymore. Cold Enchanted is not going to be showing up in Nightmare sigils anymore. For
Jesus,
a bit.
so that
And,
one was...
Backstabber is being removed as well. As
Oh,
part
I
of
didn't care about
1.1.
Backstabber.
Now, this is not by any means an exhaustive list of the things we'd want to like adjust on the Aptic side. There's lots more that we want to do to kind of improve this experience. This is just sort of like while we're in here beginning to look at these things, we know that these are problematic. We have adjustments we want to make anyway. We want to go ahead and pull these out and just make the experience better today for players.
Yep. Cool. Awesome to hear. I know that a lot of players have been giving feedback about specific Nightmare Dungeon affixes and everything. So it's great that we've been able to jump on a few of the ones that we know are problematic with the community and kind of pull them out and reevaluate. And
Nobody tried to run the resource burn.
We did. Obviously, we talked about the date for the patch notes beforehand.
I don't know what you mean.
But we do want to specify that we are going to be releasing patch notes, full patch notes next week. It's actually going to be on August 2nd, next week on Wednesday. We'll be releasing full patch notes. And then 1.1.1 is going to be coming out on August 12th, which is Tuesday. So players will... Did I get those dates right? Yes.
So I'm 2 weeks for the patch to come out.
I'm doing it by memory.
No idea. So.
I've seen so many calendars in the last day.
Tuesday after.
Oh, sorry. It is. No, I lied. It is August 8th.
Yeah.
See, this is dates.
Everything's a blur right now.
August 8th.
Sorry, August 2nd is when the patch notes will be coming out in full, and then August 8th is when the patch will actually hit. Sorry, I apologize. I've had a lot of dates in my head over the past couple of weeks.
Sorry,
so,
we buffed the date.
Yeah, buffed the date. That's just also part of the patch notes. So players will be able to see everything next Wednesday. We'll be posting those, so make sure to stay tuned. Of course, on the Diablo social media, etc. We'll end up updating the patch notes there, so players can see it. Just remember, the patch is not that day. We're just posting the notes early so that players can actually see them. This goes back to exactly how we were talking about that we want to better communicate these notes here, similar to how we're doing this here on this campfire chat. And then, of course, August 8th is when the patch will end up going live for all players so that they can actually experience it and jump through with all the changes that we are kind of detailing out here, and they'll be seeing in the final patch notes on Wednesday next week. We do want to jump into Q&A because we just went through a whole bunch of...
I don't care about this part. I meant to go back. Did they actually say... when they were doing the barbarian stuff, was there an actual defensive adjustment? How do you go backwards? I thought there was
in later game, or for late game players and stuff like that.
Is there no way to rewind? What the hell? I thought you could do it in Twitch too. Oh, well, never mind. That's why Twitch is so bad. All right, I'm not going to listen anymore. I don't care about the Q&A. Huh. For some reason, I felt like I used to be able to do that, but maybe I was just completely thinking of something else. I'm going to play D2. I don't know if the barb changes were that great. Increase in fury generation, basically. There's nothing that really stands out. I'll go back and look at it later. I was thinking about making a leap barb, like doing a leap barb playthrough. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it. I don't feel like diving into anything major. Ladder. I don't know. I didn't feel like there was a whole lot to work with there with the barb stuff. Fury generation, it is kind of bad, but nothing else seemed to be all that worthwhile. Hold on, let's see. What was I gonna do? I was about to do something. Oh, I was going to switch this back to, let's see, instead of Diablo 4, we're going to say Diablo 2 now. There. I don't know. What do y'all think? Did it actually have anything there worthwhile? I felt like there wasn't a ton there to work with. My barb is painfully squishy.
Beware foul demons and beasts.
Well, we want that. Oh, XP shrine. Hell yeah. Dang. I just didn't feel like there was anything there to get excited about, you know what I mean? Nah, Chris, I have not reinstalled Warzone, man. I have not been seeing good stuff, dude. Alright, so we're going to go leap, right? So what are we looking at here? Here, and basically we just want to go leap attack. So that's the only other synergy. So what should I go? I can't do that. I would love to do that first. That would be funny. We're just gonna go into like double swing or something early. Oh, did they finally pull that out of there? That's good. Oh. Where's that dagger? 1 to 5. Let's do this. Yeah, I gotta be honest, dude. That superhero stuff looks so kind of just. I feel like they're just reaching so hard, man. And what's with them adding like all the animal skins? It's like a rabbit and a rat and a cat and a wolf, and it's like I feel like they've just gone off the rails with the skins. I guess, yeah, they're just trying to get as many skin sales before the next one comes out, right? This actually feels good. I'm back home. Where's the TP at? A waypoint. I'm hitting D4 keys right now. I guess I should use bash. Oh, are they going to have the skins transferred to MW3? Because, you know, people got screwed on 1, all the skins they bought. Let's just do that. Oh, it's behind the tree. No wonder I couldn't see it. Should I do a single player? It's not too large to not too soon to reset it.
There are
Not
many
too late.
foes here.
I've never played single player. Nah, I don't want to do. I prefer the option of being able to, like, join other people at some point. Yeah, yeah. I don't. Yeah, I'm not gonna mess with that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is exactly the reason. I'm not gonna mess with it. I'd like the idea of at some point being able to join in games with other people. Just always been kind of my thing. Yeah, I saw the pistol nerfs because they had like the snake shots in the that X13 or whatever it was. We'll go into bash and double swing until we get our leap going. Not gonna lie, it feels kind of good to just be playing just a playthrough on Diablo 2. You mean like a Spearzon or Jabazon, Jeb? I heard they're pretty decent. I did play that Battle Bit. I downloaded that and played it a little bit. I gotta be honest, that's a horrible game. It's not that good. I don't know what the big hubbub is. To me, it's kind of cool, the origin story of the developers that made that game. If for nothing else, I support that game just because of that. But the game itself is kind of not that great. XP Shrine. Let's get that. Not a ton, Bob. Not a ton, man. We're gonna make a leap, Barb. Oh, they did announce the patch notes go out next week. The patch goes live the week after. Why can I not pick that up? Yeah, it's a reskin D4. I can't see myself playing until at least the patch notes drop, because my Barb just doesn't, it doesn't feel fun to play.
The rogues are safe for the moment.
Yeah, there's got to be some really good movement in the, I keep hitting T for teleport. Jesus Christ, I'm using all the D4 buttons now. Oh, I don't have any TPs. Alright, we'll just restart.
Good day.
Hello, I am you have cleansed the.
Yeah, I think they're afraid to make an OP item. Well, they make them, but then they make them impossible to get. Let's do that.
Good day.
I don't remember how to click shift click to sell now. What was it? Wow, I have literally forgotten all the buttons. There we go. So let's control click. Yeah, I don't think that. I don't know. Maybe it's just a difference in philosophy. Like, I feel like uniques should be that way, and they're just leaning hard into uniques will never be that way. So I don't know, man. That kind of hurts the game for me. I feel like they should lean into the build defining items. And if they're not going to do that, then the game's going to be a tough sell for me going forward. Do I have any gold stashed? I didn't make this a ladder character, didn't I? Did I make this a ladder character? Yeah, okay, just making sure. Oh, look. And they're pulling servers away from D2. The D2 servers are going away. Yeah, Eric, that's how I kind of see it. Except works, right? Because you can't even change the, yeah, you can't change anything on the item. So honestly, it's just a worse legendary. Yeah, you can't re-roll. You can't, try and re-roll an affix. You can't change the aspect on it. So it's literally honestly, it's a tier below legendary. Because outside of just a handful of them, they don't add anything to any of the builds. What is busted? My weapon already? Alright, that's fine. We can fix that.
Wow.
I don't know. It's not a. I think they're missing the boat. But it's a philosophy thing with them. So unless you change people running the game, that philosophy's not going to change. Right. Wow, look at all these dudes. All that XP just rolling in.
I can't carry anymore.
Am I already that full? Yeah. I was gonna get scrolls. That's what I was gonna do. I don't need to hork potions right now. How many more potions would we get?
Not enough mana.
Oh, I need mana. None. That's funny.
I can't carry anymore.
I need a belt. Yeah, I don't know. I guess PoE 2 next. Let's see what happens. So the problem with D4 right now is like The gameplay is actually not bad. Like, I don't mind the gameplay, the skills, and all that stuff. I actually don't mind that. To me, it's kind of fun, but it's like one of them things where I don't feel like I have a goal. It's like I lose interest because I don't have a goal outside of increasing a stat another 5%. To me, that's not a fun goal, a grind that I enjoy. Like, increasing a stat by 5% is not, it's not that interesting to me. So there's not an incentive it doesn't hold my interest. Yeah, we're making a leaper, Snipes. I'm gonna make a leaper. Okay, we did get burial grounds.
I shall meet death head on.
I should probably throw a TP down just in case. Yeah, Justin. It's honestly, dude, even this little bit of playthrough I've just been doing right here has been kind of fun, dude, to be perfectly honest. Whoa. Teleport. Locked in.
Good riddance, Blood Raven.
Yeah, Eric, it's unfortunate, dude. Because again, the gameplay is fun. I don't have an incentive. Like, it doesn't hold my interest because for me, my incentive is not there, right? My incentive is to find the really cool item that, like, I want to build around, and they don't have that, like, implicitly in the game. So it's like, it's not going to hold my, it's not holding my interest. Yeah, they made the uniques actually kind of garbage.
I can hardly.
And that was kind of the same at the beginning of D3. Like, the didn't they call them, they didn't have uniques. It was just legendaries, right? They were so bad that they had to fine-tune them at the beginning.
I'll put that to good use.
Greetings.
I'll put that to good use.
3 max damage. Let's just slap it in there. Yeah, Eric, they did, dude. It's unfortunate. Because if they'd have nailed the itemization, like I said, the game's fun. But I've done my playthrough. I'm not interested in going back through the campaign. I played a few classes, or 3. I played 3 or 4 classes now. That's not the way. I'm just not feeling it. Like I was grinding that bar pretty good, and it just got boring. Plus, he was worse. He was just worse. And I literally tried other skills that they jumped up, like they bumped up like charge and stuff, but they were so mediocre still because they made some more changes to charge. They literally increased the damage on charge by, I think, double for the patch. It's still just kind of, I don't know if it's going to be enough even still. Yeah, Justin, because they did that. The littlest was the one that gives you the you spawn more bone walls, or not bone storm, more bone storm, and it just the damage from bone storm is so mediocre that just having more of them doesn't really mean a whole lot. Which again, they said they're bumping the damage on Bone Storm because it's kind of, it doesn't scale. It's just you don't pop it for the damage from Bone Storm. It's like increased crit chance or something when it's going. Yeah, because Bone Storm's like gives you increased crit chance, if I'm not mistaken. There's a when it's active, you gain something from it being active. It's not the damage from it. It's just that you gain something from it being active. And that's just kind of, I don't know, it's kind of bad. Rakinishu, he's the dude that'll kill you early. Yeah, look at. I don't have any potions on my bar. The hell? Get away from me, dude. I gotta trap him. No. Maybe now. There we go. I was not set up properly.
I am overburdened.
What's up, Zeki? What's going on, buddy? I mean, I feel like they'll probably continue to change like a lot of the affixes over time because there's a lot of them are just garbage and just take up. Some of them need to be there because you can't just have every item roll in like great affixes. I get that. But just like some of the ones where they spread out over like the like damage to stunned over damage to slowed over damage to distance versus damage close versus damage there's like 6 or 8 of them, right? That are just like nobody really seeks those out. And again, you have to have some of them because you can't have like just awesome affixes on everything. Well, no. Well, let me take that back. You could potentially carve that back a little bit because you could offset that with having good or bad rolls on those affixes. Because you could reset one of them, but you're still going to have bad rolls potentially on other affixes. So it's, you know, it's kind of a trade-off. I don't know. Some of them I think they can be consolidated for sure. We're going to take Hal early just to get stuff off of us. No. Well, I'm not even going to use bash. I'm just going to use regular attack. Bash doesn't feel that good. Let's keep going. That's kind of lame. Energy. These both suck.
I'll put that to good
Just
use.
do that. And I get the point that they have to they can't just go all in on some of this stuff. They got to incrementally move it, see how it works. I still think that time increase was just to stretch out, because you know that if you look at you got to look at the entirety of the game, right? They look at played time as one of their metrics for success. And if 2 seconds per teleport exit from a dungeon is not that long, I mean, it might feel a bit much. But if you multiply that times the number of times you do that per play session times the number of players, that's a lot of actual time. There we go. Now we got it. We'll go double swing now. Now we'll get rid of the shield and get another weapon. I will do that when we get another weapon. We'll just do this. Now we can go double swing. I feel like it was more in vain of that versus like not letting people teleport out of danger. Honestly, I thought that was a little sketch of an answer. I don't know if I buy that one or not. Snipes, I think we did. I'll have to check. I thought we cleared all the sets before D4 launched. Because we did that one, it was like a Sunday, we did like all the keys we had left or something. I feel like we did. I'll look later to see if we still have that stuff. Waypoint, there we go. Alright, now we can, yeah, there it is. We'll check. I might still have it if I didn't run it. I just thought we had cleared out as much as we could before the season dropped. Today's Friday, right? What level do we get leap attack? It's all the way to 18. Nice. Is anybody even still playing D2? How many of you guys are even playing? There we go. Oh, are you, Jim? Cool. My like looking at my friends list, like I don't have like anybody playing D4. Nice, dude. You got a griff? That's awesome. That's a super cool find. That's adds to the excitement of playing, right? What we get? 2 sockets. Nah. I don't think there's an early helmet we can make. Oh, really, Zach? Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, the new season, I'm curious to see if it gets any kind of love at all. I'm curious to see if we see any movement from the Diablo team actually talk about D2. Know what I mean? I think right now it's a thorn in their side. Zeki, dude, it has crossed my mind, put it that way. That they just like conveniently just not remember to do anything with it. There we go. Waypoint. Let's go dump real quick. I do want to do what we had talked about, where we'd maybe do a 8-man pally group with all different auras and stuff. I feel like we should do that. No, the change only was that Infinity works in spears now. It was Infinity only, wasn't it? Not even like inside. I think it was just Infinity. I gotta be honest. I think that a pally group like that would probably mow through everything. Oh, well, Eric, yeah, I remember you talking about that. I want to do that. I actually want to I want to put that into play. I feel like we should definitely do it. I actually did that. I don't have anything to dump. I thought I had more stuff. I guess I should hold on to the pots, though. Just do that. We'll repair, I guess. I think that would actually be a really fun run. I think that would be kind of cool to do. So I'm definitely planning on that for the season launch, if it happens. Damn, Eric's got all of it planned out. We're going to do it. Oh, I took the wrong TP. Dang it. I didn't mean to do that. Just take the waypoint. I think it'd be pretty cool. The only thing is, at the beginning of the season, we'll all have paladins. So things might get a little slow. Except for if we do like the 7-1, we'll have one player that actually has a Sork at the beginning of the season. But everybody else could be running pallies. That's weird lag.
This tree is one of a kind.
No mana pots? What the hell? 3 to 10. Do that. Oh, that's actually cool to know, Jeb. I don't think that's across the board, though. I'm pretty sure you still can't put insight in a spear. Seems like we tested that.
Ah, very.
Oops, wrong one. Yeah, Infinity I know for sure, 100%. That one, I remember that when they made that change. And maybe they like added others later on. That either like Stealth did it or just as part of that. I just remember Insight didn't get done as part of that, which maybe, I don't know if it's needed. Trying to remember when we started hunting inside bases. That still was like Nightmare, I'm pretty sure, before we were hunting inside bases. chasing the stupid things around.
The land here is dead and lifeless.
Help!
Deckard Cain, you've got to get out of here.
Missed one. Lots of stuff. Alright, so what do we need to mess with? We got that. This is where we're going. Leap attack's going to be our main thing. Keep trying to hit T for teleport.
You have.
I don't see the road. It's got to be over by the tree. Probably the only person streaming D2 right now. Ooh, scepter. Still hits harder. We'll do this, yeah. It's 2 socket. Obedience in a lance. Interesting. What's the high rune for obedience? I've rarely made one. I think I've made one in my time playing. I don't remember what the runes are on that. Just 2 socket? Or are those just the 2 highest runes? If that's the case, I mean, as soon as I don't know what the min level requirements is going to be for that. We could probably make one as soon as that becomes available. Because I mean, it's not like I'm playing single player, so I have. Well, it wouldn't matter single player. It's not like it's hardcore. I don't have any access to anything. I got my rune stash for ladder season here. Let's see. She'll take the hit recovery right now. 5 sockets. Yeah, I definitely got the stuff for it. So I just need a 5 socket. Did you say it was a spear, or was it any polearm, spear, everything? Is that the one you were saying goes across all of them now? So it'd be nightmare before you could get a 5 socket. Gotta find the waypoint. There's the tower already. Let's put this here. See if we can find the waypoint. Oh, okay, nice. Who was it that did the elite barb? Somebody did elite barb last season, based just specifically off of people giving them stuff. I thought that was pretty funny, because they ended up with a pretty beastly elite barb, if I'm not mistaken. I need a potion more, or the mana more than the skill. Nah, it was somebody else. They were just screwing around last season. They were like, all right, I'm just gonna make elite barb, but I'm gonna base it off of just items given to me. But on the flip side of that, he had a friend that was kind of a whale finding stuff that was just like feeding him like super great items. So it wasn't like based off the charity of like random people. He literally had a friend of his that was just like feeding him great items. So we can't count that.
Good day.
Good day.
Now we're gonna play this out. I'm gonna play it leap all the way through and try and farm with it.
A stench of poison.
Oh, this ain't good. This ain't good. This ain't good. This ain't good. I should have ran in. We're just gonna try and run it.
Thank you.
Chico, you know, that's a little hyperbolic, but they definitely definitely missed the mark. And there's people that like it a lot. So let me preface, like a buddy of mine, I went to see him this past week. He likes playing games, but he's not like hardcore into gaming. Like, he decided to try D4 and he likes it. But you would consider him definitely like a real casual player, and doesn't like follow the nuances of the game. Because when I showed him like my character, it just like blew his mind that I just had all legendaries. Which, if you played the game and you know a lot about it, that's not that big a deal. It's more all legendaries are actually decent is kind of the goal, I guess. But just the fact that I had legendaries just was like full kitted, just like blew his mind. He thinks the game's great. So I think, you know, we have like a biased perspective, because we're all pretty hardcore D2 players. So you kind of have to take it like that. They've catered it towards a pretty casual audience, which kind of all games have to do that to an extent, just to for the revenue. But for people that really get into the weeds on games, that approach where it goes too hard to the casual player, it just doesn't feel that good. It's like, that's kind of how I look at it. It's lacking in many aspects, and I get bored with it really quick. But I don't think you're going to see them move away from like that casual player-based model. That's where all their money is coming from. Man, what's up, buddy? Man, dude, I got bored way before that. So yeah, that's the reason for my playing something else now, or going back. I got bored with it. Double scepters. That's what I'm talking. Oh, we sell that. But yeah, we looked at the fireside. We watched part of the fireside chat today. they're making some changes. It's 2 weeks out before the patch goes live. I might mess around with it at that point because I'm playing Barbarian, and they focused a lot of the changes on Barbarian as far as balance changes. I don't think they're enough, to be perfectly honest. So we'll see. I think she'd back up a little bit.
Your blood will boil.
I am overburdened.
Wait, am I full on gold? I guess I am. At least you got to 86 before you got bored. It was way before that for me. I got around 45 or 6. And I just got tired. I'm tired of it, man.
Good evening.
Wasn't that exciting.
Well,
Maybe the patch notes will shake things up a little bit. But I don't know. I didn't really see anything in there for the Barbarian that maybe a little more rage regeneration, but I don't think they've done enough still. Wait. Why? It's acting like I was full. Why? Or was that just coming out of the chest? '86 is actually a pretty decent grind. What'd you play, Ahmed? You still there? What'd you end up playing? Just gonna run it. I should probably put a couple of points in health. What is hitting me so hard? Was I just not hitting that dude? There she went.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
Definitely not doing any speed runs with a barbarian. Yeah, Bob, we're back here.
Greetings.
The Order welcomes you.
Ah, forgot that ring. Ooh, more gold. Let's do that. This is gonna be an early gold find, Barb. Let's put a little invite. Yeah, Bob, I feel you, dude. I think we're all kind of feeling that right now. And I mean, they had the fireside today. They're tweaking some uniques. They're going nowhere near far enough with uniques. They're making them a little better, but they're still changes, like specifically to the barb stuff, were kind of meh. I thought they were kind of mediocre. So we're going to level Elite Barb, just for the hell of it. Nice. Look, it's my Merc being stupid again, standing in the melee range. Mace. We'll keep going double swing for now. $312. We got sockets, though. We could potentially put some stuff in those sockets.
I shall make weapons from your bones.
Merc's just over there watching. Whoop, 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 whoop. He's gonna kill me. There.
I should take this to Charcy.
Yeah, Bob. I mean, they already said. Well, what they say? Like season 2 before they'll get to the resistance stuff, or was it 3? Season 2's a long ways away.
No one should ever be caged.
Whoa, lots of stuff hitting me.
I can't carry anymore.
Lame. You got one shot in a Helltide? The crap is that? The first thing I'd love to see Microsoft do, though, when they take over, is up their server infrastructure. Because let me tell you, Activision Blizzard, just in general, I knew I was going to do that, uses horrible server infrastructure. And this is like across all their games. All their games have server issues. All of Activision's games. I haven't played Overwatch in a while, so I don't know for 100% with Overwatch, but I know just in general, like playing Warzone and Diablo 2. Diablo 4's been okay, but I think it's just because they spun up a bunch of servers initially for the initial launch. But they're probably going to be backing off the servers on Diablo 4 as well. Well, it's not even just that they're not the best. They're not even good servers. Like, I want to say with Call of Duty, what hertz servers were they using? Like 24 hertz servers? They're using really bad tick rate servers. And for a shooter, that's like just a problem. You can't be using those low tick rate servers for an FPS. And not only are they using like low ones, they're using like absurdly low servers. It shouldn't even be in the mix for an FPS game, but they're using them. And anybody that's played Call of Duty, Warzone, any of those, they know how bad those servers can get. It's problematic. Snipe knows, or Snipes for sure knows. Snipes, how many times you been killed by lag in Warzone? How many times have you had ghost bullets, man? Oh, wow, that's a lot of stuff right there. Oh, I'm slowed. And stamina. Like, look, I'm hitting stuff here and it's dying over here. That's a low tick rate server. Yeah, I mean, we've seen it, Snipes, playing Warzone, man. We know how bad them servers can get. Now, let's go back and get our Merc.
Greetings.
But maybe Microsoft will invest more in the infrastructure,
Oh, thanks.
like the actual
Good
hardware. I haven't. I saw it pop up like in my periphery. I don't even know what type of game it is. I've seen people messing with it. What type of game? I've seen it pop. I saw it on the Twitch game list. Like it was in like the top 12 or 15 games people were playing right now. But I don't really know anything about the game.
It is certain.
I think I'm going to just broaden my horizons in general with games. Where'd you get that?
Grocery store.
Huh? Oh, you been to the store?
Yeah. Shall I put it in, or do you want me to put it in?
Is it cold?
Yeah.
Well, don't screw it in yet. I at least got to show them.
Oh.
We're going to start a little early today.
Yes, we are. I'm getting ready to go get me one. I'm going to start with the hard one.
All right, so my wife just handed me a can. Looks kind of weird. A red oak. I don't know if you guys are familiar. I don't know if this is regional. I think red oak is regional. It's a
It says Bavarian.
what do they describe it? A Bavarian amber lager.
They didn't have bottles.
Yeah, for sure, Justin.
They
Huh?
didn't have bottles. Thought
That's
they had
fine.
bottles.
They were.
Yeah.
The can's fine.
Cool.
Yeah, Bob. Yeah, it's definitely I think it's Snipes. So cheers. I know it's pretty common, but I think the brewery is literally in North Carolina. Dude, this has become like one of my favorites. Archie, Elden Ring with guns? That's interesting. Oh, and I had told you guys we're probably going to have our website out this week. It got kind of delayed. We're holding up for some artwork. So we'll probably have the website out next week. We got a couple of guys working on getting the artwork straight for the website because we want to look as professional as we can. I hear you, Joe. Gotta be honest, after that fireside, I probably need a beer. That was I don't know what I was expecting, but I felt like, honestly, I thought the Barb was going to get a little more than what they got. Perfectly honest. It was a little depressing. There we go. Kenneth, we just decided to make a leap barb for some reason. I couldn't even actually tell you why. It just jumped into my head. Let's make a leap barb. So we're gonna make. Right now, I'm running double swing until we could get leap attack. So just messing around, man. Just messing around. Just didn't want to play my barb on Diablo 4 right now. But yeah, my Diablo 4 barb is so squishy, it's obnoxious. Granted, he's mid-level right now. But I'm curious to see how it's going to feel after we after the patch notes. I don't think those patch notes were it though, so I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about that. One life. I rolled one life. Three. That's the mana doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Hey, Dennis, what's going on, buddy? And y'all know I gotta have a barbarian these days when I'm playing D2. No matter what type, I gotta have a barb to do some trav horking at some point, so. Little Evan, yeah, I just cracked a red oak here. So, cheers to your Evan Williams. We'll sell that. You know what? Yeah, I don't care. No, I hear you, Bob. I do think I'm going to try out PoE 2 when it comes out. I haven't played PoE in like forever. It's been like years since I've actually played PoE. But I mean, everybody keeps like everything's getting compared back to PoE these days with the ARPGs. So maybe we need to take another look. Wait, what? Are you that close, Jeb? Are you literally on top of due date? Or are you referring to something else completely? I don't know what else could it be, but... Nah, Kenneth, I'm playing online. I don't like playing single player just because I like the ability to just get into games with like you guys at some point. So, couple days. Ooh, yeah, you're right on top of it. Well, good luck to you and the missus, man. I don't remember if we talked about it, Jeb. Is this your first? Don't you already have a child? I don't remember now. Man, y'all always popping out kids. You guys are always, there's always somebody popping out a kid. That's first. Boy or girl? I'm assuming you guys know. Got a boy coming? Grats, dude. I know that waiting right now is anxious as hell. That first one's definitely nerve-wracking. just go ahead and do that. Doesn't matter, but that's true, man. That's true. Future Diablo 2 farmers in the making. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Where's my merc at? Is she not shooting at all? There we go. And then she dies. Dennis, dude, I just don't believe anything anymore. I just refuse to believe anything that's ever on the news anymore. Yeah, right, Snipes. It's so, everything's just so dumb these days, man. It hurts my head to even think about the world. Like, you know, with the lockdowns and stuff, like sheltering in place, driving people crazy. Now, even now, like, I don't. It's like, you know, we're past most all the lockdown stuff. You know, COVID is what it is. But it's like, I want to even shelter in place even more now because everything is so dumb. It is, dude. It's everything's such a joke. It hurts my head.
Good evening.
It's like everything everywhere is a clown show. Everything's just like dumb to the nth degree.
Greetings.
I don't even know if I have any low-level gear I can slap on this guy. High Lords. Yeah, I don't have any low-level stuff. It does, Dennis. The stupefaction of the world. Nah, Jeb, I'm just gonna chug along today. I might try and kit my gear out a little later. I mean, he's chugging along fine. Health might drop, but for the most part, we're doing okay. Nice, Bob. What was the ED on it? Oh, this guy, I got the kite keys out. It's just going to be bad. Look at it. She's got smoked already. She's too stupid to run. Look at, look at, it's gonna teleport. It's like I'm not hitting it. Alright, got it out. Okay, why is the door closed? Did I close it? What is happening? Kite, kite, kite. There we go. Let's just put that in there for the hell of it. This adds lightning damage, right? Yeah, screw it. Weapons damage, I don't care about that. 199. Nice.
Good day.
You still trying to play a bone necro, Dennis? How far have you gotten this season, Dennis? I haven't played in like a week. I'm waiting to see what Diablo or what barb changes they were going to implement before I sunk any more time into it. Hit him. A lot of stuff. My mark died. You were able to get at least to finishing the capstone. I stopped right before that. I tested out the capstone at like 45, and it was rough. 2 to 6. Get out of here.
Good day.
The Sisterhood welcomes you. Yes?
It's trying to make me go throw barb. You did it at 45? Yeah, I can see that. I did it like the barb just feels so bad right now, man. I actually got to the final boss just testing it out, and
so cold and damp.
he was I wasn't doing any damage to him. Fury Generation is a lot tougher with the barb, which is one of the things they changed. But it does feel like super slow. Let's get some more vitality in here. What you talking about, Snipes? Don't forget to get your lottery tickets. Powerball's like almost $1 billion tonight. It's still worth it. I think it's still worth it. What am I going to do with tracks, man? Do you need those for an elite build? What's that? Well, it's level 19. I'll definitely throw those in later. Wrong boots. Level 14. I'm about to come up on these. Ooh, yeah, those are actually pretty decent. Yeah, we'll rock those for a while. An Oath Feral Axe. Let me look at this. What is this? That's level 49, though. Level 21. That's interesting. Oh, that's the Oath we were talking about. Never mind. I just realized that's what that was. You don't... Oh, wait. No. What we were talking about obedience, wasn't it? We were talking about obedience earlier. Dennis 5 win. I'll fly y'all out. All out. Well, you know, they had the other one that was, what was it? It was the other lottery, like last week. And it was like 1.2 billion and one person won it. That's like just insane. Biggest, slowest weapon? Yeah, that actually makes sense. Yeah, because we're not worried about IAS. I saw somebody like punching out like crazy numbers with leap attack. Like 25, 30,000 damage leap attack. What the hell y'all doing? Drax. I don't think I need Drax. I think I got several pair. Yeah, they're on my paladin. I actually have decent gear. They're just on other characters right now. How do you have a couple of keys? I'm not destitute this season. I mean, I've gotten, look at what I got: a Burr, Sir, Omrune, and Goal. That's not horrible considering how little I've played. I think, I was trying to remember, I traded something that was really good. In fact, a Hamster was the one that traded it for me. I don't remember what it was now. Baba. I probably would use the Baba later. Guardian? I don't know if Guardian would be it. Baba's definitely we need. Sure. Oh, that's actually a pretty good one. Warcry's gold is like kind of the one people kind of go for meta-wise, but I mean, that's not bad because I won't have. I'm sure I won't have it. Well, actually, technically, I could probably make an Enigma if I wanted, but I probably won't. I don't feel like I technically need Enigma for running Trav. I mean, it makes it a little quicker. I know, Snipes. Love you too, man. $43. We'll set this aside for mid-tier stuff. Y'all treat me like I don't have anything. I got stuff. Look. We'll pick up these randos in case we need to make something. Yeah, well, that's true, Eric. That didn't even jump into my head. Like with leap attack, we're moving like a lot anyways. No, what that's you in this, Snipes. But I mean, we got, let's see, so what's it been, 2 weeks since the patch came out? No, what was last week? Or not the patch, the season? When did the season launch? It was just last week, wasn't it? God, it already feels like it's been 2 weeks. Yeah, because I played Thursday and I was able to level up. I was going to play Friday and that was when I had issues. But see, that's another aspect of D4 that I miss, or not miss, that I wish they had, because I miss it from this game. It's just the ability to like throw loot at each other to help each other out. We don't have that. That part is severely, the social element of D4 is actually worse than D2, which is crazy to me. To be an open world game, there's no social elements to the game. Outside of partying up to maybe run some dungeons or something, I don't know. It feels severely lacking. And there was some. Did y'all hear about when they were talking about? I think they said that. I don't know if it was in last week's fireside chat. I think it was actually in a tweet or something. They were asking about. What were they talking about? It was something to do. I don't know if it spun off of the talk about the stashes, but they were talking about the social element of the game. Like when you load in and you see other players, not only are they loading in that other player's gear, like for you to inspect, it loads in everything that player has, like in their stash and everything, which is the most bizarre thing I think I've ever heard. Like, you shouldn't need to communicate all that info between player interaction. It should just be that. It should just be the character and maybe your inventory of items. That should be it, because you need that inventory of items for trading. So that needs to load in with the character, and then what the character has on, because they have the ability to inspect the other player. But they're like, when you see another player, they literally load in all the assets for that player, like inventory, stash, like all the aspects in their aspect inventory. All that stuff gets loaded in, and it's just too much. Yeah, Joe, I have heard a lot of people do like the the couch co-op stuff, which I don't have a problem with. I think that's great. It's just, I feel like they didn't put enough for an open world game. There's nothing social about the game. I always feel like I'm just playing by myself. And even when we group up, there's only the 4 you could put in a group. So we can't even get our great, 8-man groups running like we do in D2. I mean, it's max 4. I don't even know why you make it a open world game if you don't actually you hardly ever interact with other players. there's very little actual interaction with other players. To be the size of the game and the number of people in the game, the social interaction is so tiny. All she does is spin around in circles and not shoot. What's a max? Two socket at this level? 1. It's 15 ED as well. That's funny. Yeah, Eric, that's crazy to me, dude. That's such a bad concept. Why they would implement that is just blows my mind. Alright, we don't need any of that. Stun we don't need. I wouldn't worry about find item right now. I guess we'll just keep dumping here. Yeah, Joe, it's not even comparable, man. Yeah, it's not even close. World of Warcraft, dude, I mean, it's the full MMO experience. You are literally, people would just hang out in town for hours. I mean, just doing stupid stuff like just dancing in town and just doing random stupid shit. But it was always happening. Not that I'm saying it needs that, but I mean, just the fact that, they make it so hard to actually trade, it just blows my mind. Oh, I know, Bob. WoW is still pretty popular. I mean, was it Dragonflight, I think is the new one, the new X-Pack. I mean, you might as well have modeled it after the... I mean, there's probably more interaction in Diablo 2 than D4. I'm supposed that's the waypoint, so we should be going this way. I bet it's right there. Hey Joe, what's going on, brother? Screw it. Jerry, I'm making Elite Barb. We're gonna play Elite Barb. That's gonna be my trap farmer this go around. I just felt like doing a chill little playthrough instead of messing and screwing around with D4. Joe, that's not that much of a stretch. I mean, honestly, I felt like, you know, because they talked about trading because so many people were asking them about it. So I feel like they put as little in as they could and get away with it. But I mean, it actually is non-existent in the game if you think about it. I don't think there's hardly any trading going on. So I think they actually achieved their goal. Oh my, so many packs of these. Come on, you stupid. Get down here. Let's play the corner. No, that's not true, Eric, because they made it in World of Warcraft. The auction house is a perfect model. The World of Warcraft auction house would literally work in D2 or D4. They just, you know, just went against. I don't think they want. If they had their way, I feel like they would have zero trading in the game. I think they implemented what they did just to keep the blowback to a minimum. Jerry, the World of Warcraft auction house, it was literally a physical place in the game where you would take items and you could just list them and people could just throw, and it'd be like categorized. Like you could list like two-handed weapons, weapons, potions, just all kind of whatever you can make, and categorize them, and you could put a hard sell price, which would work in D4 because gold is actually a good currency to use because you use gold for so many things that you could set a price and the person could literally just buy it. The seller would get their gold minus a percentage that the auction house actually cut a percentage off, like a small amount, and it was to take some of the gold out of the system. And then the player would go to a mailbox, pick their item up, and the seller would go to the mailbox and pick their gold up. But you literally just took an item, listed it, and there was ways to search through it. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, man. There was nothing like crazy about the auction house system. Honestly, there wasn't a lot of third-party anything going on, you know, back when I was playing it. I mean, there was people, individual people that would try and manipulate the system, like buy up items and then repost them for higher prices, that sort of stuff. I mean, it wasn't like a really crude system. I mean, it was pretty simple. There was like gold selling in World of Warcraft. But it's never manipulated through the auction house. It was always on the side, individual transactions. Because you could still trade directly outside of the auction house. You didn't have to trade specifically with the auction through the auction house. But yeah, I think there is some stuff now, but that's Blizzard's fault because they implemented some sort of token that could be redeemed for real money that was purchased or sold through the auction house or something. So that was all on Blizzard that became a thing. Because when I was playing it, that wasn't a thing. They didn't have stuff like that. And even like the D3 auction house would work in D4. Even more so, again, because gold is actually a good currency because of the way you have to use gold for, upgrading stuff. So gold is actually a good currency to be used. But I mean, they don't even have that in place. I forgot to take that charm out. Put that here. Yeah, 100% it would work in D4. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, cross-platform. I want to say the D3 stuff was cross-platform, wasn't it? I don't remember now. More gold. Oh wait, I should be going this way. I just feel like they want it this way because they want zero trading in the game. And I'm already getting spammed by gold sellers in D4. It's not like they eliminated any kind of problem. It's just done through friends requests. I mean, the gold sellers already found a way. I don't think the auction house was the problem. I think the real money auction house is what kind of got people going. Yeah, right. So I don't get them that often. I've gotten like 4. I feel like I've gotten about 4 friends requests, and literally in the friends request, they're advertising the gold selling, specific to D4. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I don't know. If we could get our gaming company off the ground, I'm gonna make a better D2. That's the goal. Haunted. he just kind of encapsulated it. And we've kind of seen it, like all the D2 content creators. I feel like they've almost all kind of moved back at this point.
I am
Ooh,
overburdened.
some gloves. What's this in weapon? Attack rating? That's actually helpful. Yeah, that's the goblin. That's what we were saying, man. You just know, yeah, the grind doesn't lead you anywhere. Dennis, when it gets to that point, I'm going to open it up to all of you guys that are like my regular guys that come in. We're going to have, I'm going to open up the playtesting when we get to that point, which is hopefully about 2 months out, to let you guys at least playtest the initial level. I think it'll be fun because we've opened it up. We're moving to. We originally started at around a 50-player game. I think we're going to run like 80 player maps is where we're kind of sitting at right now. Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. That's what I'm kind of spending a lot of my free time is working on it. God, where is this? Ooh, that's bad. Don't stand in the doorway, you mong. Get out. Which mean leaks. Go ahead and put a point there. You mean info about the game? Oh, yeah. Actually, I think we were talking about it in, I think my last stream, we were kind of going over it. I've actually laid it out there. It's going to be a battle royale. Designed around a upward mobility. Like it's going to be, instead of, like most battle royales are just like on a flat map, right? You got terrain, buildings and stuff. Ours is going to be inside of a pyramid, so the battle will scale upwards as the pyramid gets smaller. That's what shrinks the map versus like a gas cloud just pushing you into a circle. It's not going to have a standard gun leveling system. It's going to have a loot system, a lot like Diablo. And it's going to be, it's not necessarily team-based. We're going to do it kind of in the frame of like a lot of the other BRs. We're toying around with going above 4-player teams, but right now we're going to stick it at 4 players. I'm working, specifically myself, I'm working on the maps, and the levels, and the loot system. Those are kind of my pieces, my components. The other guys are working on like Yeah, kind of, Jerry. But both, some guy. Because I'm a software engineer myself, so but like we have one guy that was one of the designer or one of the developers on Rocket League. So kind of his forte was the physics modeling in Rocket League, so he's good at that. So he's doing a lot of the physics for the character models. One of the other guys is helping him with that. We got an art guy, graphics guy now, so he's doing like some of the 3D modeling. He's working on the website right now. So I'm doing map design and some of the 3D modeling, and I'm actually building out the loot system. The loot system is going to be like Diablo in that as you unlock stuff, they're going to be tiered. Like if you unlock, say, an M4, there's going to be, you could technically unlock anywhere from a normal, like the white items, all the way up to a legendary. So there's going to be 5 tiers. It's going to be white for normal, and there's going to be a blue, and then we're going to do like a rare. Actually, it might be a little more like WoW, I think. Like rare will be like the yellow tier, middle tier. We're going to have an elite, which is like purple, which I think that matches World of Warcraft, if I remember correctly. And then we're going to have a legendary tier. And actually, like the stats will scale as you unlock them. And that's going to apply to gear like helmets, chests, boots. It's going to apply to attachments. Like you could technically have like a legendary attachment even. Eric, man, I appreciate you, brother. Get those members back in here. More more manly. I hear you, Jerry. I hear you, man. But so I think that like will pull like multiple, like there's people that like shooters, right? There's always been, I mean, and even you guys that have like just played along, like jumped in with me with Warzone, it's like not necessarily your forte, but you jumped in. Shooters are fun. But I think adding the loot concept versus like in a regular game, a shooter game, or like Warzone or Battlefield, those kind of games. Damn. Danish, what's up, brother? Damn, now Snipe's popping. But like, I appreciate you guys. Like in the shooters, the normal weapon grind is like you get a level, you unlock a weapon, you use that weapon, the more you play it, you unlock attachments, so it's like just a time-based system. But in ours, we're going to get an RNG system in to where, you know, if you kill a player, he doesn't necessarily drop what he's using. The player drop will be literally like a monster drop or a mob drop in Diablo, where it's like an RNG system of like 2 to 4 items that could potentially drop, and they could be anywhere from like ammo to a legendary weapon of some sort could drop. So there's going to be an RNG based loot system that lets you unlock newer items. And I think that's a pretty fresh concept. There's nothing like that that I've seen in a shooter type game, because you're going to have loadouts like Warzone. It's not going to be like what you find in the game is what you use for the Battle Royale. It's literally going to be a system of loadouts where you go into the game with a set loadout that you build for the game, for that match. And once you find something in the game, it becomes part of your loadout. You won't lose it after the match ends. So I think in that regards, we got something fairly unique, as long as we build out the loot system properly. Right, yeah. Your goal, you have an incentive. You have a goal to find all of the best items. And there's going to be such a wide range of it. I've lost count of how many weapons we've already kind of decided is going to be in the game. And then there's a huge list of attachments. There's going to be, as well, there's going to be like tiers of helmets, boots, that can give you move speed, chests. I haven't decided beyond the like 3 or 4 gear slots. Oh, y'all killing me. But, well, Joe, and here's the thing, man. I feel like the way I'm setting this up, I think it will draw a player base that potentially might not necessarily be into shooters, but loves like kind of loot grind type stuff, because we're putting a system in that, like, if you're not geared as well, or you're a newer player, but you actually kill like a higher or a more geared player, and you actually get the kill, that player that you kill will actually have the chance to drop better loot. Eric, that's 100% in the game. That's 100%. I'm not going to leak anything about that, but I'm 100% putting some troll stuff in. Dude, Snipes, I don't even have it installed, brother. Exactly, some guy. There's an incentive there. I feel like combining those two worlds with a loot system that a lot of people gravitate towards too, with like world or like MMOs or ARPGs, like that loot system. I think people love that incentive. And then there's the people that love playing shooters. Oh, Eric, dude. we've got some plans for like some troll stuff. We 100% do. Jerry, we're leaning towards a little faster paced. Like the area in scope, like we laid out, like the square, we're using meter system to just make things simple within the pyramid. And it's around 6 million square meters of floor space. Now, obviously, we're not going to utilize all of it, but the pacing is going to be fairly quick. We're wanting to not get above 20-minute matches. We feel like 20 minutes it starts to drag on, so we're shooting for like 15 to 20-minute matches. So we'll work out, like we might remove some floors if it feels like it's taking too long, or shrink some space in, so that we can get like the pacing right. I should probably put a portal down. Yeah, I know, Snipes. I hear you, brother. Oh wait, what level am I? Ow, I could put those boots on another level. No, it's going to be cross-platform. It's not going to be PC only. That's leaving too much market on the table if you make it PC only. We'll see, man. Here she comes. You stupid merc, shoot the damn boss. We gotta run. I should have got some antidotes. Snipes determined to get some Warzone in.
Good evening.
But I think overall, I think the concept's good. Well, there'll be a lot of stuff to work out as we go, but I think overall, I think we're in a good starting point. And like I said, it's not like we got guys that have no experience like in the market. Like we have some contacts within, hopefully within Epic, that might be able to fund us. Oh, let's get rid of this. I can't use this right now. Jeb, I think it is. And again, I mean, it's not going to appeal there. There's not going to be a game that appeals to everybody. But I think it would potentially rope in a new market. Like people, there's people that just love loot grinds just in general.
Greetings.
Alright, let's kill her. Get that kill. She's almost dead.
Let the gate be opened.
Easy. This game's too easy. Actually, upgrade. That's crazy when Eisenhart's sword is an upgrade. Wait, who's in my game? I didn't even notice somebody jumped in. I think it'll be interesting.
And finally we...
Eric, I just hit 13.
The caravan.
Good day.
Not for at least 2 weeks, Tomac. I want to see what once they drop the new patch, I'll see how the barb feels. But if it still feels like crap, then we're just, I don't know. I'm just gonna have to shelve it. Know what I mean? Yeah, Tomac, we noticed that, man. Where you at, Bob? You talking about back at okay, back at Rogue? All right. Jerry, we're like getting the website live next week. Our our goal is to actually find an angel investor. Like I said, we do have some connections that we're going to utilize. Like one of the guys knows the original founder and owner of Rocket League, and he's actually going to talk to him about it. We want to get the game to a position where we can do a proper demo and show it. So that's kind of our first goal, is to get the website out, which should be out next week, just to get the info out there. But we want it to make, appropriate. It needs to look professional. And then we're going to get it to where we can demo like maybe the first level or even part of the first level. So you could get in and actually do some shooting, jumping around, that sort of thing. And then demo it to investors. We have the crowdfunding option open, but we're that's like down the list of what we want to try and do. That's not like our immediate goal. We're actually going to approach specific people. Yeah, Hunter. Yeah, Jerry. That's kind of our goal. Because I mean, these guys that I'm working with, man, they're definitely driven, and they're guys that I've known for years, and they've always been trying to find that angle, and I think we've found that angle. I think it's pretty good. So, yeah, we're not necessarily like the crowdfunding probably would be like a last resort. Yeah, Jerry, he's actually in a real. He left Rocket League, the development team, at some point, but he left on really good terms, and he said the guy still reaches out to him on occasion to just see what's going on. And if nothing else, maybe it ties us in with maybe some people at Epic. I don't know. I don't know if we want to go that route because Epic owns Fortnite, and that would technically be our competition. So and this guy's like, he's separate from, he has a lot of contacts at Epic. He sold Fortnite, or not Fortnite, he sold Rocket League to Epic Gaming. Well, we're using the Unity engine right now. We're not hard stuck on it. Yeah, Unreal's free to use. There's enterprise versions of Unreal and Unity that you have to pay for, but there's free versions of both that are actually really good. There's more tools available in the enterprise version, obviously. But we're not like hard stuck in one. We have been working with Unity though. I mean, we have some contacts out there. We're not like, this is not like some, flash in the pan attempt. We're actually going at this pretty hard. These guys are dead set on making this happen. I think the concept's good, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, it is, Joe, and that's what I'm saying. The guy that's on, that's a friend of mine that's working with us on this game, he did a lot of the physics on the Rocket League originally. I'm sure it's been improved upon since he's worked on it, but he's really good at that stuff. In fact, the character modeling and physics that we already have in place is already way better than a lot of games that I've played. It's already that smooth. They're like fine tuning a lot of that stuff now, but they've already got the physics and movement in a really good spot. It's kind of crazy. like I said, I've already, we've already done some testing on the characters movement and stuff, and it's already not even bragging. It's already way better than a lot of games I've played. It's just kind of crazy. Ooh, a Saigon's built. Might have to take that. I don't need the Monarch. We're not going to need a rhyme. I'll hold on to it. I feel like, well, actually I could do that on Switch for Horkin. Early, maybe. We'll see. What's Myth? Oh, that's actually, yeah, I remember that. I probably could use that. It's level 25. What are these other pieces? But again, we'll have I had planned on we had originally planned on getting the website up and running this week, but one of the guys went on family vacation, so we're kind of holding off on that for now. But we should have that up and running next week. And you guys will be able to see it. I'll let y'all know the link when we get it. I don't think I need FCR, do I? That attack rating's nice. These gold fine rings. But anyways, that's kind of where we're at on the game, and I'll probably actually show y'all some of the level stuff once we get the website out. Like I said, we'll have to get to a point where we don't want like a public test. So I'll definitely hit the guys up that are like you guys that are here regular. We'll set up a download to actually run it local, and then we already have some networking set up. Like we could already make a game and like people connect to it. So we already have like the back end networking set up. Yeah, it's like pre-alpha. Yeah, that sort of stuff, Jerry. But we'll need like more than just 10 people in a game running around to test it. We'll need like 30, 40, 50 people in like one map just running and testing it. So hopefully we'll have that available. I think we're shooting for like 2 months out on that piece of it, that component. So that's the goal. I mean, these, like I said, these guys are real serious. I'm serious about it. I spend like hours. Like I worked till like 2 a.m. last night on it. Just working on some 3D modeling stuff, because there's like really cool pieces of it that I've never delved with before. Like I've never done any 3D modeling, but it's actually a lot of fun. I really enjoyed like a lot of the 3D stuff and making components and stuff. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, initially it will be on mouse and keyboard, but the end goal is to be cross-platform.
Greetings.
So we'll see. It'll be fun. I think this will be a lot of fun. I just got to make sure I get the loot concept right, because that'll be like a sticking point if it's kind of janky. But I've got it kind of outlined, so I just got to like fill in the details. But I mean, between all the guys that are working on it, we probably have, couldn't even tell you how many thousands of hours playing shooters. You'd be surprised, Jerry. Not necessarily a shooter, but like Overwatch is Unity. And it's actually really... Overwatch's movement and sound system is one of the best. Yeah. And then we're actually working on the latest Unity release, and it's actually got a ton of really good character controllers that actually are kind of ahead. Chris, that's actually funny, man. Did you imagine? Oh my God, reroll a stat on a weapon. That's hilarious. Or is it? I guess it depends on how we break the stat system down, like on the weapons themselves. Because there's going to be a list of stats, but they're not necessarily always like known. You know what I mean? Like you don't actually see the stat itself. That's interesting. I have to think about that actually. Some way to modify the weapons outside of their base. That actually might have some merit. No, I'm not seeing a class system. Because usually, like a class will revolve around like some sort of special ability or utility. And I'm not the way we've got this structured. I don't see a basis for that. You know what I mean? Like some games have like Battlefield introduced a class system, which actually it has potential. We haven't actually approached that, but they do. You could technically do a class system where you have like an engineer class, an assault class, a medic class, that kind of thing, and it limits the weaponry that that particular class can use, type of thing, potentially. Yeah, actually, we hadn't really talked about that, Jerry. That might actually be a concept we can use. No, it wouldn't be like the Overwatch model, like where there's like special abilities, but there could be classes to where
Good to see
you could potentially have a bonus in something, like an assault, like not necessarily being the case, but like the assault class would be potentially more accurate with like assault weapons like ARs or LMGs and stuff. Whereas like the medic class has some healing capability. Like an engineer class could potentially breach walls or something. Yeah, there's some potential there actually. We hadn't actually kicked around any class ideas, but there could be a potential there. Yeah, Dennis, you kind of have to. Some of them are open where you could use them, like AK-47 you could use because it's been around for so long. It's past that patent, that copyright thing. But some of the newer stuff you can't. Yeah, you got to rename them. Tomac, I don't care. Tomac, you should try them. You should try playing a little Diablo, man. It's fun. That's true, Joe. We can go ahead and release it right now. Oh, actually, I didn't know that, Jerry. So Tarkov was on Unity as well? Okay. That's...
Hello.
I mean, it's a pretty popular game. I did, like I said, I was telling you guys earlier, I bought that Battle Bit game that everybody's going wild about, the Lego Man shooter. And I gotta be honest, it's not that good, but it's only $15. It's kind of fun if you wanted to get into some madness and shoot people for a little bit. It's got a lot of issues, but I mean, it's a 2 gig game. It's small for comparatively for what it does. And they got a lot of components in it that are actually good. It's just kind of janky. And it's built on Unity. But these guys...
Greetings.
Yeah, Jerry, it's kind of lame looking. But here's why I think it became so popular. It's the origin story of the developers and the fact that the market is so bad right now with shooters that it filled a niche of people that just wanted to have fun without all the issues behind a lot of the shooters right now. BattleBit, B-I-T. BattleBit, one word. It's horrible looking. It is. It's literally 2 gigs. Yeah, it's 2 gig shooter. But it's been the #1 seller on Steam for like 4 or 5 weeks. And it's 3 friends that built a game in their spare time, like from their regular job. And in the first 2 weeks the game came out, they sold, I don't know how many copies, but it was $27 million. In the first 2 weeks. Yeah, Jeb, that's 100% it, because its main competitor would be Battlefield. And Battlefield is just atrocious. Because it's got a lot of problems. I played around with it a little bit. It's not horrible. Yeah, it's like Minecraft shooter, man. Yeah, but in 2 weeks, they, obviously Steam takes their 30% or whatever. But, I mean, for 3 dudes, that's life-changing. And they could actually, if that was what if they're wanting to do that, they could actually turn the game into something amazing. Yeah, no, Jerry, that's one of the reasons why I bought it. I bought it just to support those guys because they went up against the Giants. It's called BattleBit, Bob. Battle B-I-T. Yeah, exactly. They didn't put any emphasis on the graphics. They put it on the gun system, which is actually better than Call of Duty. With how they do attachments and all the detail in that, and just fun, man. It is fun. You could get into 127 versus 127. That's a huge battle, and it's just absolute chaos. The features, the buildings, and everything in the game are fully destructible, which is kind of cool for that, that that low graphics of a game. They've got vehicles in it. I mean, it's just awesome that 3 guys were able to do that and literally put all the AAA developers, on their ear, taking their market. It'll be a flash in the pan.
Hello.
But they could take that, what they have, turn up the graphics, make it smoother. Yeah, exactly. If the game's fun, graphics mean dick. And that's the thing. These AAA studios, they went in every other tangent and just lost the fun. D4 did it. And they admit it. They took all the fun out of the game with that last nerf. What fun there was. What fun there was, they just wiped it to 0. But it's pretty.
Good evening.
But I mean that's a D2. I mean D2R is why I like it. I mean they took a game that's really good and they just made it pretty. Like the foundation was already there. The game they didn't and when they now first launched it, they didn't change the foundation of the game. They just made it look good. Grounded? I feel like I've heard of that. But yeah, I mean, I bought it just to support those dudes. I haven't heard of that one, Jerry. Yeah, Eric, all the AAA studios are in that grind, and they're not putting out good games anymore. Well, dude, that's all that matters, right? I mean, if it's fun, who cares? There is so many people playing BattleBit right now. Where's it at right now? Yeah, I mean, BattleBit's got like 40,000 people playing right now. For 3 dudes that made a game, that's pretty good numbers. I mean, I wouldn't be complaining if I dropped a game, me and my friends, and there's 40,000 people playing it. Yeah, Joe, I 100% believe in that. I saw a video of a guy who was talking about that. It was it was kind of funny, but it's true. I mean, let's push people into the season to force them to look at the battle pass, because we're gonna trash all your old characters so that they all suck. So you're feeling more into playing a new character, hoping that it'll be better than the one that just got trashed. That's so weird. But I mean, hey, we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. Yeah, you got to get it's live service. They got to keep pushing that seasonal battle pass. That's the only way to keep the game going. If they don't have that seasonal battle pass and it doesn't make any money, they're just gonna keep pulling resources away from it, move it into a different game. Which one are you talking about, Bob? You talking about BattleBit? Like I said, I've played it. It's chaos, but it's been fun. Jesus Christ, really? I thought it was a done deal. It was just going to close like in October. That's true, Eric. Yeah, Bob, like I said, man, for $15, I mean, I'm supporting some guys that actually put out something that people enjoy playing that's, $15, and it's just some guys that were doing some work on the side and came out with it. I mean, I'm fully in support of that. No issues at all. All right, guys, I'm going to jump. I'll be on Monday. Yeah. Yeah, I know they extended it, Jerry. I'm probably going to play around with this character some more. I'm not going to play D4 until we see what that patch does. So that's 2 weeks away. I might jump on to D4 to see what the Barbarian feels like after they make the changes. But just based off what I saw today, it doesn't look like... It seems kind of meh. So I don't know if it's going to be worth it. We'll see. Appreciate you guys hanging out. It was fun. It's good to be back on D2. Rolling the Barbarian. But I'll catch up with you guys. I'll be on Monday. My sister actually picked my mother up, so I got about 2 weeks of just hanging out. I hear you, man. All right, guys. I'll catch y'all later. I'll see y'all on Monday. We'll be playing D2, by the way. Snipes, I'll think about it. If I do it, I'll just catch you online because I'm sure you'll be here. You'll be on there. I'll catch up with you. Yeah. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.